3, 2, 1. Spotlight.
Spotlight Fantasy, a little one-on-one spotlight with David Cooley. Welcome, David, to Spotlight Fantasy.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you.
I've been waiting.
It's been a long, years and years in the works to get to the famous Mr. David Cooley on here. We really appreciate it. Back in the old Spotlight Fantasy podcast days, I generally always started off with asking, when did you start watching football to begin with? I'm assuming as a young boy.
Yeah, 5 or 6. There's a story that my parents like to say is we moved to Kansas City from the East Coast, and they like to say that I went up to them and said the Chiefs traded or signed for Joe Montana, and they're like, what? And they had no idea what was going on. And my parents were like, okay, he likes football, and I've always liked football ever since.
I know that you've done a lot of work in football.
In college, I worked for the University of Kansas football team as an equipment manager for 3 years. So my first season there was the season we won the Orange Bowl. My last 2 seasons there, I was Mangino's cord guy, so I had the best seat in the house. I literally stood behind the head coach at that time for every single game for the last 2 years. And then I graduated and went to Jacksonville to work for the Jaguars and had an equipment internship down there. I am a Chiefs fan, just to clear that up. And then after that, I coached high school football for 2 years. So I was a wide receivers coach at University Academy, which is a small charter school in Missouri. And then I coached at Cheyenne Mission South for a season as the varsity receivers coach and sophomore offensive coordinator, which was a lot of fun. Did a lot of flag football stuff, and then basically have been doing fantasy football for a long time too. And just over the last couple of years, I've been really pushing this into my primary hobby. So I like to nerd out on it and get really into it. And you probably see my passion through all the messages about it.
I started this 5 years ago and with enthusiastic people. And last year, you messaged me that you had heard about the group and wanted to be a part of it any way you could. And we got you into JC Wasp and Mass Capital. You won Mass Capital, obviously. So you came in fighting and winning and knowing exactly what to do. But it wasn't just your competitiveness. It was also your sportsmanship and how you handled yourself, and also helped us as a fellow commissioner with the group and help us organize our thoughts and how we looked at settings. And you've really elevated Spotlight Fantasy in such a great way. And I just want to personally thank you for that, because your expertise has been nothing but helpful for us. And now we are in a situation where we're starting something really serious with this Dynasty League, Peradigm. And for me, I had no idea how to get going on it. I was nervous about the length and really the structure of it and the simplistic rules that go into it. And I probably would never have even considered it if we didn't have leaders like you, David, and Ryan Haverland, Brock Schulte, and everyone involved, people who have been doing Dynasty Leagues for a while and know all the ins and outs. And I just want to thank you for elevating us to get to this point, and couldn't do it without you. We really appreciate that you're here with us. Thank you so much.
I know you guys had 4 leagues going. And I talked to Brock about this once, and I think he's in 8 leagues or something like that. And I was like, are you in any dynasties? No. I was like, you guys are missing out. Like, it's a whole nother level of fun. And the best part about it is it doesn't stop. As we speak, free agents are getting signed to NFL teams, and a lot of dynasty structures are changing. So there's a lot of off-season fun that goes into it, and you can be actively trading right now if your league allows it. The thing about a redraft league is the fun ends at the end of the season, and you have to wait 5, 6, 7 months for the next draft. With Dynasty, it just keeps going. So ever since I've done it, I've done the Dynasty League I'm in now, which is a salary cap specific league, for the last 3 years. It's just been so much fun, and I've done a lot of research on trying to just be good at it, and also from a commissioner standpoint, how to run a good league. And I'll give you a lot of credit because you put a lot of time and effort into making these things great, and that's why people are so backed by you as far as being their leader on these leagues, and that's what makes it special. So kudos to you for putting such a good thing together, and that's why I wanted to be part of it. And when you guys were doing the podcast thing, I was like, oh, it'd be awesome to get on a podcast, because any excuse to talk about fantasy football, I'm in. So I'm really happy to be part of this group. I like to have a lot of activity as far as talking on the messenger or inside the app or whatever. From a fellow commissioner, it's appreciated, and I know we do a thankless job. I didn't want to be the commissioner of this one, but I'm glad to co-commission and be a good support person for you.
Appreciate those nice words. It means a lot, because it is a special group, and I put the effort out if I feel like people are enjoying it, and I feel like they do. It's an amazing game, and it's more amazing when you play with gentlemen and gentle ladies that want to just have a great balanced experience. There's nothing like it, and it's a great group. When the minute you came, we decided to do Dynasty, and we had our meeting. You ran that meeting and really put people at ease on what to expect, explained everything in a manner that I couldn't do at the time, or still probably could yet. And it's just that aspect of getting 9 out of 12 members together and helping people structure their brains around what to expect is priceless. And it just really sets us up so far ahead to get ready to take on this great journey. And I'm super excited about it. And the Spotlight Fantasy will only get better and better with this kind of energy and level of commitment. And I really am thankful to do this with you, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to help. I've done all the research, more or less. I did it all a couple years ago when I started the other one, so I've done research as far as what things to look for and other issues that could or come about. So I'm trying to get it all out on the front end and say, hey, this is what we need to think about and expect.
You got to go through several seasons of leagues to understand what could go wrong. Me at 43, I've been in leagues at least for over 10 years, and we're all here to tackle and stop any kind of major problem before it begins. And that, I think that creating the ground rules, creating the Constitution, and creating any sorts of problems before they happen is going to be ginormous for this kind of group. And it's going to solidify a lot of trust, and the commitment will just be stronger, and excitement every year to come back and try to win, because everyone has a fair shot at competing. So that's the main thing.
As a commissioner, I've been told I'm strict but fair, and that's the way I like it.
I like that too. I love it. But David, I just want to thank you so much for popping on real quick for a quick spotlight conversation. I am assuming we're going to be doing quite a bit of this, in the future. I really appreciate you, and thank you for taking the time. And I'm excited for more details to come from Peradigm, from Spotlight Fantasy, from Obi-Wan Mahomey, Mass Capital, JC Wasp, and Octagon. It's going to be an incredible 2024 season, probably the best that we've ever had. And it's because of you, people like you, David, and all the other great members of Spotlight Fantasy.
And you too, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.